Well, it seems like there's a bit of job snobbery still around when it comes to this coronavirus jobs crisis, with 1.5 million people now on the dole. You'd reckon at $24 an hour to go and pick strawberries, people would be rushing to do it. I mean, Karalee, I could see myself out there with the bit of proper slip, slop, slap and get out there and start to pick some strawberries. $24 an hour, it's not bad money, is it?
No, but of course we've always got this problem, and as Bronwyn said, the longer that this welfare does go on, the less inclined a lot of Australians will be to work, and that was one of the biggest issues that was raised also here in Western Australia, because we also rely on a lot of international backpackers to go and pick fruit and do things like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. So why are so many people not applying for this, for these jobs to go and pick up fruit? Why? Because they know that they can just sign a couple of forms and get the JobSeeker or the JobKeeper payment. And, and let's be completely frank, every Australian, they're always a little bit, suspicious, or, they're trying to, I shouldn't say every Australian, but there's always an element of society that will try and game the system. There have been a couple of cases that have been to light where people have managed to get onto JobSeeker payments when really they aren't entitled to it, and they've said, oh, well, we'll deal with it down the track. But, yeah, there should be nothing wrong. Where are some good young Australians to go up there and pick fruit? I mean, $24 an hour, as we know, having a job is one of the best forms of welfare that you can do, improving your skills, your experience, and odds are you'll be offered a full-time job at the end of it, and it can leapfrog you to another job. We've all done jobs like that, but
Karalee,
it's the attitude.
the key thing for me, Karalee, I mean, Malcolm Roberts, I'll tell you my story. My grandfather told me, all right, two grandfathers during the Depression. One went around and he was picking stamps off parcels that he was delivering for the parcel post. But he was doing that work, and the other bloke, he went up to a building site and he said, yeah, I'm really good at doing plaster work. He'd never touched it before in his life, but they managed to keep themselves employed. And this is colourful stories, Malcolm Roberts. This whole idea of what did you do during the coronavirus downturn? Well, I picked strawberries at $24 an hour, and the strawberry industry survived. I think this is good to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. And even if someone was receiving money from the government right now, going up and getting a job at the strawberry on the strawberry farms there would get something else on their resume. It would show, above all, that they've got the initiative to get out there and not just sit back and spend their time on government money. But, when I was 18, I worked in the coal mines at the coalface in the Hunter Valley, and we were on 7-hour shifts. And I went to work at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we knocked off at 1 o'clock. I went then and worked in the vineyard, because it's a lovely place to work. I mean, it's pretty hard work in the vineyard in those days because there was not so many tractors and more hoes, But so that I think that work ethic, it must be cultivated. But, I've got a lot of faith in Australians. Sure, there'll be some people who milk the system, but the majority of people will want to get back to work. The worst thing you can do to someone, apart from hurting their family, is take their job off them. People are disconsolate when they see that, when that happens to them. They're lost. But people need to contribute, and it needs to be meaningful. I have less faith in the political class, because the political class are the ones that have the gutless approach, because they're afraid to put things back the way they were, or afraid to restore what needs to be fair. Remember, when there are two sides to welfare. There are the people who are needy, that deserve it, but there are the people who pay for it. And that's most other Australians. So we have to look after both sides. And most politicians have given up fulfilling their duties to the taxpayer, to serve people, and they haven't got the guts to take things off people when that is deserved, or to put requirements in there, or to get back to basics. I'm more worried about the politicians.
That's going to be interesting. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. The dignity of doing, Bronwyn, is absolutely, in my view, the character-building stuff. It's the stories you can bore your grandchildren with at a later stage in life, learning to do things for yourself, the dignity of doing.
Yes, but Gary, this is a fundamental question about what the future is going to be for our economy after it having been shut down. And the bottom line is this, that we are not going to have backpackers coming out here to pick our fruit because our borders are shut.
No.
We are going to have to use our own people to do these jobs. And if you're on the dole and you refuse to take such a job, then it should be cut off. People are going to have to learn that that these options that were easy before aren't going to be there anymore. We are in this mess because China deliberately set that virus out into the rest of the world by shutting down its domestic travel in China and sending out people who were infected into the rest of the world on international flights. That's how it got there, the Wuhan virus. And we have got to say that we have been decimated, brought to our knees by a deliberate act. And we're having the insults thrown at us now where China wants to say, oh, we're here to help. And really we're the superior system of government. And what we have to prove and make sure that we do is that, no, we are the superior form of government. We are the ones that will let individuals prosper. We are the ones that are going to make it easier for individuals to use their talent and their capital and employ people and make profits. But for people who are not in that entrepreneurial class, who want to have a job and to be part of the society and enjoy the freedoms and the standard of living that we have here, they are going to have to play their part by taking jobs that they otherwise would not want to do, because things have dramatically changed. We can't go back to what we were. We have to change.